Yep, ready.
Well, welcome to Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully we'll do a lot of collaborating and talking and sharing so that we don't become victim to the lunchtime snooze fest. This is, my name is Heidi Olson. I'm from the UAF eLearning. I'm one of the instructional designers, and I'm a certified Google trainer. And I like Google. It's been very helpful in the academic setting as well as personal setting, and I think for students it's a great way to keep them engaged. And we're going to be talking about peer assessment today, and we're going to look at a variety of ways that students can collaborate and give feedback to each other, and ways in which you can sort of monitor that so you can see what's going on and who's doing what. So that's kind of where we're going to go. We're going to look at Google Docs, and hopefully if we have time, we're going to look at Google Forms and how you can use that for peer assessment. And there's an add-on called Yet Another Mail Merge, which gives some functionality to Google Sheets to create automatic emails based on a template. And I'm hoping that we can get to that because I think that's a great way to kind of reconfirm some comments in peer review, and it's another way of pushing information out. We are being broadcast live on Hangout on Air. So
I might interject a little bit there. When you get a chance, you're currently sharing the Google Sites screen, not that screen, just so you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you're curious as to what Heidi's doing now, it's a plug for the Hangouts and Hangouts on Air sessions tomorrow.
Okay, I think this is the right one.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So we're on Hangouts on Air, and it's being streamed, and most likely there will be a recording you can watch afterwards if you would like. So I'm on the schedule site, and we're under peer assessment, which goes to the agenda page for this session, and I have all of the resources and information about this session linked off this page, and it'll be there afterwards. So if you need to review or you want to look at something that you know, when you have more time, please feel free to do that. I have just a couple questions. Just to get some information from you, I'm wondering, do you do peer review? Do you have your students do peer review, and why do we assign it to students?
I do, but I'm not smart enough yet to be able to have them do it through Google Docs. But after this summer, I'm sure I will be.
Yeah.
And I do it for two reasons, I think, because a lot of times they learn as much by seeing what other students are doing as they do by their own. And I just think it's good for them to be able to monitor their progress.
Mm-hmm. Good. Anything else to cut to that?
Just more feedback.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Build some critical thinking skills on the students' part. I teach an online class in Adobe InDesign, a desktop publishing class, and part of the theory behind design is being able to critique and to give feedback to other people, which then hopefully helps you look at your product critically and thinking, okay, how might someone else see this, or what can I do to improve it? So getting practice on giving critique and giving constructive feedback is really important, and through the peer review process you can do that. And also, you know, learning isn't done in a vacuum. I mean, you definitely learn through other people's comments and ideas. Peer review is a great way to do that. How are you currently setting up your peer review? Are we doing it by exchanging papers? Mostly, yeah. So, you know, maybe in a high school situation where you might be workshopping story writing, maybe you're making several copies of pages and handing them around. So through Google Docs, we're going paperless. You know, everything's online. We're making our comments online, which is one of the advantages of using Google applications like Google Docs, is that we're not passing around papers, and the comments are staying within the document. They're not being separately added. So I have this video, short video that I'd like to show. And when you're ready, okay. We'll get this. And it's about a teacher's perspective.
The kids definitely have more collaboration. Even when I'm not telling them to share documents with each other to get feedback, they do it anyway. So earlier in the writing process, they're getting more feedback, and it is improving their products immensely. We've also been using some of the Google Docs and Google Calendar functions within our team, which we hadn't done before, which made it easier for us in terms of planning parent-teacher conferences. We were all able to see the same calendar. We put together documents for our advisory sessions, and we're able to edit them together. The other thing that we've been doing, which is really cool to check out about, is that the students are actually able to use Google Slides for their presentations and work on those collaboratively. We just did a project where the students had to design a fundraiser, and they were all able to break apart the different components of the assignment and work on them separately within the same presentation space. One of the first times that we did peer editing through Google Docs, when the kids actually had the opportunity to share throughout the day, many, many times at every period, kids were saying, "This is so cool," which is awesome for me as a teacher, because you don't hear that enough to keep you going. But whenever you do hear it, it really is empowering, and it makes you think, well, the kids are engaged and they're really into it, and it added a new dimension to the class. The kids were trying something new, it was working, and it made their lives easier too. And they just thought that it was the neatest thing, and it really is. It's very cool.
Do you want to review that again or share it with anyone? So I think the idea of collaboration, you know, is one part of the peer review, and then being able to give that critical feedback. I have shared a document here. It's called Share and Comment Instructions, and it's kind of a step-by-step guide to using Google Drive for peer review. So you have some screenshots there. And this is actually what we're going to do. We're going to each create our own document, and then we're going to partner with someone to try out some of the commenting features. And then I want to show you, what the revision history might look like, as well as, well, just how the whole process would work and how you might have your students giving review on Google Documents. So, and then if you have, as I go through the steps, you can refer back to this document if you need to at a later time, because I thought it was a nice, concise document. So I would like you to all create a new Google Doc. And let me know if anyone gets stuck.
Can you walk us through that?
Sure.
Okay.
So the best place to start that is being logged into your Google account somewhere. It could be email or it could be through Drive. So I have Drive open. So there's a couple ways that I can create a new document. What is one way?
Say new, click on the new red tab.
I could go new and then create a Google document under the new panel. And what's another way?
If you go to the waffle,
You go to the waffle.
you click on docs.
Yeah, I don't have it here, but but if you have it there, you can open it there. And then another way would be actually, those are the two ways. So I'm going to go from my drive and create a new Google Doc. And whatever screen you had open, just like on your hard drive, so I happen to be in my drive. If for some reason I was in another folder and I created a new file, that it would show up in that folder. So just be aware of where you're creating things. And if you're not sure, you can always, after you title it, remove it. Once you title it, and then you get a little folder icon, and I can always click on that and find out where I put it.
Where do you title it from?
So when you create a new document,
Or where you just click on the Untitled
Yeah.
Chapter? Okay.
you can also go to File to rename. So if you could just write a short review about a book you might have read, a movie you watched recently, just looking for some content so that you can share that with someone else and then they can help have this conversation with you. So maybe an article you read that was interesting, newspaper article this morning, a book you're reading or you read, a movie you watched, a game you just played, some sort of, just a paragraph of text. If you can't think of anything and just want to practice your poetry or a reflection on a previous session, you're just looking for some content just to play around with. when someone's done and feels brave and would like to share their document with me, then we can have a little conversation using your document. I'm sorry. And here's my email address. Who does not have a couple sentences or something? Okay, everyone has something in there. Okay, then I am going to, so the next part of this is, as a student, you've created your work and now you want to get the peer feedback, so now you're going to share it with somebody. And to do that, we're going to go to the share button and then share it with somebody. So most likely you're going to type in someone else's email address here to share it with. So I'm just going to share this with Owen. And I know he's in my contact list, so that he automatically showed up. Most of you aren't going to show up in my contact list, and I would just enter your entire email address. And then I want to make sure that Owen can comment, so I'm going to give him commenting. I don't necessarily want him to edit my document, but I do want him to comment. So I'm going to select comment. And now he's going to get an email message. And as well, it's going to show up in his drive under shared with me.
Just got an email.
Good. So going through that same practice, but in reverse, Barbie has shared her document with me. So, and I'm sure I got an email. I see it in my shared with me folder files under my drive. So I'm going to go ahead and open her document. And I see that she shows up there. So because I know that we're working on this at the same time, we could actually have a synchronous little conversation. Since there's two of us and it's shared between at least two people, if you show chat, then I can actually say, hey, I'm looking at your people. And if she's also currently in that document, she could write back to me and we could have a conversation about something. So this might be a place where you need to talk to your kids about appropriate use of a chat box. And it's, you know, not for telling jokes necessarily, but it's for keeping on task.
Show me again how you got the chat box.
Yeah.
Just looking down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's the little bubble.
Once you've got somebody on.
Yeah, once you have it shared with someone, and they don't necessarily need to be on at the same time, that history will maintain itself, but if you know you're in the same room. So the little synchronous chat option.
Diane, I did share mine with you.
Oh, Matt, you did? Okay.
It's fine. I mean,
Okay,
And I want to mark it.
so what's your,
Okay, let's hold on with sharing and just let me show you one
oh, you don't
more
want
thing.
us to share?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
just hold on one second. I just want to show you one thing and then we can play. Okay, so I'm sharing the document of Barbie and we can have a synchronous chat, which is that little bubble. And I can also just make a comment, which Barbie has already made a comment by highlighting a word or a passage and going up to insert to comment. And then I can make a comment. And now I have made a comment based on her word. And that's not really good peer feedback.
I didn't know exactly what you stellar. So when you share it, you mark it that you can comment, right?
Yes.
Instead of edit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, see, so I can't, I don't know what that means. I can't, well, actually, you probably shared it. So I can edit because you probably just shared it with me with the full rights. But if you had only changed a comment, I wouldn't be able to manipulate your actual text.
You can edit my.
If you share it with me with just full privileges, then I can make edit comments to your work. But if you choose just the can comment option under sharing,
I don't have, I have the options of can edit and can comment and can view, but I don't have.
yeah. So there's only when you share a document, there's the three options: can edit, which is full privileges.
Okay, that's the full. Okay.
Yeah, and can comment gives me the right to make the little bubbles on the side, and then view is just a view option. Yeah.
I work with grade school kids, and when I make comments on theirs, my question was, is there any way to move the comment closer to the area that you're working with without, I mean, I guess you could draw arrows.
But it scrolls with the page, so.
Yeah, it's just, for the little kids, it's sometimes hard for them to.
Yeah.
When you type right in it though, if you're not making a comment, if you're doing the edit.
If I had them share it with me with editing, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted, I've been playing around with it. I just wanted to make comments, but I was just curious if there was a way to move it closer to the text.
No. No, there isn't. And I know like in a PDF, you can actually put the little comment right over a word,
Right.
but there isn't that capability, not that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
So when you share it out, just can comment is the option. So there's two ways to make the peer review edit, is either in a synchronous chat where you're having a conversation about something, or by highlighting something and inserting a comment. So now if you would share your documents between yourselves and try out those two options of synchronous chat, but definitely make some comments on the documents.
I've shared mine with 2 people.
Okay.
So now where do I find yours?
Okay, if you go back to your drive. So if you go to your mail, how would kids get that place to find your mom? So you check you did share my mom email.
Yeah, so did you go to share without?
Well, when you do share, it generates share. So you could have, anyone with a link computer comments, but how would you guys all? I lost internet. Okay. So I had to restart. Okay. Anyway, so I don't have yours. I didn't get yours.
I don't have that.
Yeah. I see your.
I could just teach them how to share it. Are you in the, so you're in the.
Yeah.
So do you have the option to turn it into a chat?
I just used her F number. I thought I did.
I got his notice.
It should be listed in your shared items, isn't it? Right?
It says I've been invited to edit it.
Well, you can update it. So why?
Anyone need a partner at one share this, or?
Let me ask you a question. We're looking at the same document right now, and I can tell she is too, but the chat shows it for me, but it does not for her.
You and I Take us a while to figure out.
No, I know.
Is that because you told me I could only
Actually,
the second time I left it?
Right. Maybe you need to refresh. It shouldn't have, I think it has also.
My computer is also being really tired.
So are you in the same school district?
No, but I did send
It
it.
it could be that that function is turned off.
The commenting.
The synchronous comment, chat.
So I can call them.
Yeah. So that might, because it should show up.
So to comment, then click comment and highlight something.
Oh, comment, okay.
So now once you tell them that
I'm not good. I shared that one.
Well, no, I've got math on the other hand, I'm trying to write something, so it's on here.
Yeah, sure.
Your assessment, I could probably get it twice.
Oh, I didn't, okay. I didn't connect my comment with that.
So where are you at?
I'm sorry?
Where you at?
They want to do more.
I teach Japanese and I've done this.
So did you say we could click on?
Technical partner.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if I wanted to highlight the faults or stars, I think I could out that.
I think you would choose a little better version. Really irritating.
There's no, are you voting?
Ignore that.
Did she do by choice or by deduction?
It's, yeah, sometimes easier to manage.
The good part for me is if I have.
So I feel like you can't make a new comment, it
I
just
don't
stays.
oversee the progress. But other than that.
We lost Sarah.
And it's all about you.
So Sarah is, she's good.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of efficiency, maybe just getting everything together. And if you do have the possibility of more,
Well, especially as you get the kids.
you know, if you have multiple people, giving their view on one person's, then yeah, maybe multiple sets of papers that go pass around, it's hard to kind of.
So right here, it says insert comment.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I mean,
there's this,
certainly when I'm
looking at our comments, that I'm inserting it directly to that.
Oh, so did you,
So I haven't done it, but that's.
Yeah, sometimes
yeah, but I think this is just an efficient way of keeping everything together. We do have the capability of having this conversation.
I'm gonna take a look at that.
Yeah. So has everyone had a chance to try out the commenting feature and seeing what that looks like, both as a commenter and as the author of the paper? You think that would work in your classes?
You know, the only thing that I've seen on this that I struggle with, and I'm talking about one of my high school English teachers who is very, very adept at this. But when I walked into, anytime I'm in his classroom, this is what I see him doing. And he says, well, I'm talking with my kids. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
You know, I can't see the engagement there. I can't. And so I worry about that aspect of it.
Well, one thing, I mean, it could be that as an individual student, you're getting more personalized attention by doing that.
The film that we watched with that one teacher where he says, you know, I can stop when I'm having coffee, that type of thing.
Uh-huh.
But I still feel like in the classroom, kids still need the face-to-face time.
Yeah, and you do benefit by hearing review on other people's work. So you do benefit from that, which if it's private between you and a group of students, not everyone's taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that, you know, that could be a disadvantage, but there might be other places where you're sharing out that information to the class as a whole. One thing you might notice is all of the comments on your document are being collected, and you will be given an email notification. So that's another way of getting that information pushed out to you or to the student, is comments within the document as well as an email notification.
So then when you're done commenting, do you just close out of the document, or do you have to save or anything?
The beauty of Google Apps is, except for Google Sites, it automatically saves. So Google Sites, you still are saving pages and everything you do, but Google Apps, it automatically saves, which is where the revision history takes place. So every time Google saves, it's saving a history of your document. Have you folks looked at a revision history? So it's pretty powerful, especially when you're having students actually collaborate on the same document on two devices where they're both logged in, because you can see who did what. Mm-hmm. And
Where is that?
so it is under File, Revision History. I'm just taking the liberty of making some changes here. So if we go to the revision history, I can see what happened here. I can see that I made changes that are highlighted in the red. And if I go back to Barbie's, this will be the original. And if I go to more details, it's going to give a more precise look at all the revisions that were made.
That's helpful too, if you have kids working collaboratively on a project and somebody thinks they messed something up or somebody did something just funny, you can go back to your earlier version.
Yeah, revision history is cool. Yeah. And most of the Google apps have that. Okay. How many folks have used or created Google Forms? And what are you using them for?
I just created one for high school tennis for parents to fill in kids' names, addresses, sweatshirt size.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I work with the PD department in our district, so often it's to survey teachers about different, like, what do you want for this, that, or the other, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sign up for events.
Okay.
I'm not getting another document. In order to get to these documents, I have to go through my email. Christine's. Yeah, and I could open there, and I go to my shared with me.
Yeah, I don't know what is happening, so let's hold on to that and we'll investigate. So, sometimes, well, I have a form here that I created for group work. And this is more of a personal evaluation on, we had an assignment where
where it was a group assignment. And at the end of the assignment, I want my students to evaluate the participation for the other group members. So I created this peer evaluation questionnaire. I'm asking, and I got this off of the agenda page for this site. It's called form. Name, class, and I have designated specific classes. Name of group member, I actually typed in the name because I want to make sure it's typed in accurately. And then some scaled questions, and then additional comments. So the responses for this look like this. Name, class, mark, and then some evaluation, and then some comments here. So as a teacher, this is only seen by the teacher at this point. I haven't shared it with the student. I created, I'm going to create separate sheets within this spreadsheet for each student so I can see exactly by the student how his peers thought he or she did. So I've created a sheet here for Mark. I did that by using a script or a filter. It's a function within Sheets. So within spreadsheets, you have functions just as you would in Microsoft Excel or OpenOffice. And one of the functions is a filter. So I'm saying, hey, on this separate new sheet, I want all of the information for a specific student, Mark. So it's looking at my master page, all of the column headers, E through H. And then I'm looking at specifically column D, which is the name of the group member. And that's why I wanted to type in the names so that they were all the same. And now I have a page just for Mark.
So you opened a new tab.
So,
Mark.
Yep.
And within that
So I opened a new tab and then
titled it Mark.
I titled it Mark.
Okay.
And then I typed in this formula, and I'm going to do it in row 2. Oops. That's what I want to see. And then this is going to be the Alice page. And then I want to copy row 1, just so I know what everything is.
So you're making like a spreadsheet?
Well, when you create a Google form, you automatically get a spreadsheet in the back. It's created for you with each of your form questions listed.
I think Alice, yeah, is showing on.
Yeah.
So then you can just go through each one of the papers and mark off what it does and doesn't have, is that?
Yeah, and this is just a way to compile all of the peer review for individual students. So, so now all of the reviews that came in for Mark are all on one sheet. Okay, so
will it do it automatically when they submit the review, or do you still have to do the?
I had to create this. This is a special situation, and I have the script on the agenda page.
And then if anything is added to the master sheet, like if someone else fills out the form, will the Alice and Mark stuff
automatically
pop in?
So this is really helpful when you have a large amount of data. So maybe thinking about the PE, maybe you want to pull out all the information about basketball. And that's one of your questions. It's like, choose your sport. So then you could create a separate page for basketball, and anything related to that survey that relates to basketball would be on one separate sheet.
Or like when Kathy did Google Forms, she suggested a behavioral.
Mm-hmm.
And so any teacher in the group could go in and do a behavior evaluation on a certain student, but then it all went into one big, huge.
Right.
So this would allow you to say, okay, let's take a look at Alice today, you know, this month or this quarter.
Yeah, and then
And everything
out.
anybody had said about Alice would come.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this example, I also created, I wanted to let Mark know what his average was for each of the individual questions. So one of the questions was amount of work. So based on the two surveys that were filled in for him, I created an average equation. So based on the two, he has got 2.5. The quality of the work was 3.5. And again, that's just using that function of an average. This is also something that I added. Average leadership, and then there's the email address. Because now I want to email this to Mark to let him know what his average was and also what other combined text comments there were. So I couldn't find a way to combine text comments in one cell. So I just came up with, it's not very pretty, but it's a combination of equals one cell and another cell. So it's not very pretty, but for my purposes, it's going to be okay. And now what I want to do for this is I want to email this to the student. And this is where an add-on comes in handy, because there's no really, unless I want to copy this and place it in an email, an add-on can do that for me. An add-on are like little widgets that do add functionality to Google things. So mail merge, remove blanks, rows from a spreadsheet is pretty handy. In the document area, there's an easy bib that's pretty good. You can create Wordle charts, which students like to do. And it's also nice for writing to see sort of what repetitive words you're using. Different small little scripts that you can add onto your Google Docs that add functionality. They're all third parties, so some of them work better than others, and some of them are free, and some of them have a price. For this exercise, I'm going to do yet another mail merge. And then I'm going to start my mail merge. And this does, this works in combination with your Gmail account. So what the process you go through is that you create a draft of an email, and you give it in the subject line is going to be the name of your draft. And in mail merge, often you'll do the 2 carets as placeholder spots. So in this case, I have several placeholders where it's going to pull information from that Google form.
Is an add-on like an extension?
Kind of.
Okay, but it's not where you found it. Like if
it's yeah, it's within an application though, so they're application specific. Yeah, so this is Google Sheets, so the add-ons are going to be different, and you can go just to the bottom to get add-ons.
They're right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then once you install them, then they're always available.
Okay, sorry. And they're just not highlighted for us because it's not our document. So when we're looking at this one right here,
yeah, and those are my add-ons.
those are yours, so we don't even get to look.
You don't even, yeah, if you don't, yeah, they're specific to a user.
I get that.
So it's yet another mail merge. It's looking for a draft email that I created. So I created a draft email and used my double carrots as places for placeholders. So my first placeholder was average amount of work, and that's pulled directly from this column header. So I have to make sure I have in my draft email the exact wording for my column header. So average amount of work goes here, and then I say quality, that I typed in quality of work. So this is my second placeholder, pulling from that Google Sheet. Average leadership, and then other combined text comments. So those are pulling directly from these three plus this column header, and it's going to pull this information. So if I go to add-ons, yet another mail merge. I'm going to say skip. So I'm going to find my draft, peer review, peer evaluation template. And this is going to be from Heidi. And that's my sent from, so I'm sending it from my teacher account. I can track if the email got opened or not. I'm going to send myself just a test message to see what it looks like. Check your inbox. I'm going to check my inbox.
Now, how would you send it to just Matthew and not to Matthew and Alice and all of them that you had on that sheet? Or were they separate sheets that you had?
They were separate sheets.
Okay.
So here is that email, and this is what it looks like. So, and it was to Mark because I was on Mark's page. Here's the results of your group evaluation. Here is your average amount of work. Here's your quality work. And then here is the text comments. And when I actually send that, it creates a notification in my spreadsheet that an email is sent. So I'm going to go ahead and send it. Oh, in a free account, you can only send 100 messages a day. And then it automatically put in an email sent notification in my spreadsheet, so I know that I sent something. So if I wanted to do this for the whole class, I could do it from the master sheet, but it would be really hard to get that average number. That's why I pulled them off.
Well, I was more thinking about confidentiality, because you probably, it's not any of Alice's business what people thought about.
Right.
That,
yeah. So those instructions for the yet another mail merge are on the agenda page, along with a copy of my email message template, just so you can see how that works. And then I have some examples and resources at the bottom of the page that hopefully will help give you some ideas about how you might use this. And there's a bunch of peer evaluation templates out there that you could pull from and modify for your use. There's a session evaluation at the bottom of the page. If you could take a couple minutes and do that each day or later, appreciate it. And that was a lot of stuff for 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So if you have questions, my email and mail is at the bottom there. I'd be happy to follow up with you on the phone. And if there's any questions from the audience, you can check out my email there, and I'm happy to respond.
Did you have a sign-up sheet?
Sign-up sheet.
Has there been one around?
Yeah.
It's right here on the back.
Oh, okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Heidi.